Spinning your serve is one of the easiest ways to trick your opponent and start off the point with an advantage. But when most people think of spinning their serve, they think of this one. So that was the screwball serve that curves from left to right if you're a righty. But there's another new type of spin serve called the banana serve that looks like this, which curves the opposite direction, and it might be even more effective than the screwball. The problem is it's a little bit harder to get the hang of, but in this video, I'm gonna teach you all the technique and principles that you need to know so that you can use it next time you go and play. Before we get into it though, I just wanna make sure that you understand what the banana serve is versus the screwball serve, because I've been seeing a lot of people on the internet that are actually confusing the two. So the screwball serve is where I'm cutting this way, and the banana serve is where I'm carving around this way. So a banana serve is not this. I've seen some people on the internet calling the screwball serve the banana serve, but they're very different, and the way that you hit them is very different. So you need to know that a banana serve is where I'm coming out to hit the ball, and a screwball is where I'm going in. The reason we call it a banana is because in tennis, a player named Rafael Nadal, one of the best players of all time, used to hit this shot on his forehand where he'd go like this, and it got coined the name banana because when you hit it, it curves like a banana. So the banana serve. So the whole goal of this serve is to get the ball spinning this way. So you want it to be somewhat on a vertical axis so that the ball curves around the opposite way that a screwball serve does. So if you're righty, the ball will curve from right to left. What's also cool about the banana serve is that unlike the screwball, you can actually add a little bit of topspin on it too, which allows you to hit it a little bit harder. So if you do the banana serve right, it might have a little bit of topspin mixed in with that side spin, which creates a different trajectory than the screwball. So it's a little bit challenging to get the hang of, but all you need to know is that when you're hitting the ball, you need to do whatever you can to get it to spin on that vertical axis. So if you've never done that before, the way that you should practice it at first is just by hitting the ball up in the air. So if you see, when I'm hitting the ball up in the air, to get the ball to spin sideways, I just have to go to the side with my paddle as I'm going up. And I'm not doing anything with my wrist. I'm just moving my paddle to the side like this. And to get the curve on the serve, you're essentially doing the same thing, but you're facing your paddle towards the other side of the court. So if I'm hitting a serve and I'm getting that spin, it looks like that. So you can see that ball actually went a little bit to the side. That's because I'm getting that side spin. But to be able to get that spin while hitting the ball hard to the other side of the court, there's a few technical things that you have to understand. The first thing you have to understand is that in order to get side spin on a serve, whether it be a screwball or a banana, you need to make sure that you're hitting the ball from a lower point. So your contact point, or where you make contact with the ball, cannot be quite as high as you would on a normal topspin serve, or else you literally just can't get side spin. See, if I try to hit a banana serve from here, I just can't get around it. Versus if I'm here, that's where I can really carve around the ball because it's more natural for myself to do that when it's at that height. The next thing you need to understand is that when you're making contact with your banana serve, you probably want to be making contact with the ball a little bit further back. So not only are you hitting it lower from a lower position, but you're probably going to want to hit it a little bit farther back than you would a normal topspin serve. So on a topspin serve, if I'm contacting the ball here, on a banana serve, I might be contacting the ball about right here. And the reason for that is the next part of the technique, which is that to hit a banana serve, you kind of need to be coming a little bit from behind your body. So I can't generate side spin if I'm going forward, then I go around. I kind of need to have my paddle going in this direction the whole time. So if you watch the serve, I'm carving around the ball, which is coming a little bit from behind me. So a normal topspin serve, everything will take place on the front of your body, so the right side of your body if you're righty. Where on a banana serve, you might go a little bit behind yourself in order to get that motion of going outwards, which generates the spin. So when you put all those technical elements together, you get something like this. So it's not that different than how I hit my topspin serve, but if you do the things that I mentioned, you'll notice that you actually naturally get that spin. So if you try to hit a topspin serve from a little farther back with that positioning, what's going to happen is you're naturally going to be coming around it and you'll get that banana spin. And while the spin isn't as extreme as the screwball, like I said, there is a little topspin on it still, so you can get more power. Before we get more into the strategy of the serve, I want to talk about a big mistake I see players making on spin serves in general. That's what I call hitting the ball too thin, which looks like this. So if you see there, the ball didn't go very far, because what I did was I went for too much of an outward motion with my spin, and I didn't get enough forward paddle momentum. So when you're hitting this serve, you just need to know that there's a fine line between going too far out and between not getting any spin. So you need to kind of find that balance to where you're going out, but you're also hitting the ball clean in the center of the paddle. And what I like to tell players is that when they're hitting the ball, they should feel like they're carving around it versus spinning it up. So what we say is peel the orange. So when you're hitting the ball, imagine that you're going around it with your paddle, and that should make it easier to generate the spin versus fully going out to the side like that. And to show you up close, you don't want to go like this. You want to go like this. So as you can see on that serve, I'm carving around it. If you're new to getting this kind of spin, it's going to be a little bit tricky at first, and you're going to need to practice it on the courts to get enough repetition where you get the feel of what you need to be doing to get it in consistently. And if you want to get the hang of it, I recommend not going through your full service motion and just practicing it from this section right here. So I can actually feed the ball to myself and practice getting that spin versus taking a full swing. Because when I do this, I can sort of isolate the mechanism that's generating the spin. And then once you get the hang of it like that, then you could add in all the other elements like your follow through and your backswing. Now I'm going to go through the trajectory, speed, and where you should aim the serve in the box. So this is really how you get the most effect out of the serve so that you use it to win your games. But before I get into that, I wanted to remind you that right now it's the holidays, and we're still offering our best prices ever on all of our products, including the Dinkmaster Pro, which is at its lowest price ever. So if you've been thinking about getting one of those, make sure to go grab it now, because after the holidays, we're going to raise the price back up, and it's going to be a little bit more expensive. So now is the best time to get a Dinkmaster Pro if you've been considering it. And another thing to consider is that all of our products are great Christmas gifts. So if you have any pickleballers in your life that need a gift for the holidays, or you just want to gift for yourself, make sure to go check those out too. Now though, let's get into trajectory and speed. So all you need to know is that on the banana serve, a higher trajectory is actually a little bit more effective. And the reason for that is when you hit a little higher on this serve, you get a little bit more of the effect of the spin. So you don't need to be hitting low lasers like that to get a good banana serve. It's actually a little bit safer and more effective to go a little bit higher. So higher, probably 2 or 3 feet when it crosses the net over the height of the net. So you don't need to be hitting lob serves, but giving it a little bit of lift over the net is actually going to give you more safety, and it's going to make it spin more. And in terms of speed, with that trajectory, I think you want to go as hard as you can to where you're not going to miss it and you're going to make it in consistently. So you don't need to be hitting it as hard as you would your hardest topspin serve, but you definitely want to give it a little bit of pace so that it still does some damage and your opponent can't track the spin as easily. So if I'm hitting it super slow, it might spin a lot, but it's going to be easy for my opponents to get out of the way. If I get a little bit of pace on it, it's going to curve into them and they're not going to have as much time to react. In terms of the targets, there's 2 main spots that actually work on both sides that are super effective when you use this serve, and you need to know them to get the most effect out of it. And the first is where I call the left foot. So if I hit a banana serve at Drew's left foot and he's a righty, what happens is the ball curves into his backhand and it can sort of mess him up because he might be expecting it to come here, then all of a sudden it's coming at his body and he's not ready for it. And if you do that, they might miss, and it'll also delay them from getting into the kitchen because they need to be getting out of the way. So it works against lefties too. You'll just have to go to their forehand, but no, the left foot on both sides is a great target because, like you just saw, it might force them to back up a little bit, which can delay them coming into the kitchen. And what's also super important with this target is that you get the ball deep, because if it's too short, it gives them more time after the bounce to get out of the way. When I hit this serve deep, he doesn't have much time to react, and I can actually get him to back up a little bit away from the baseline, which makes him even slower getting into the kitchen. So the left foot is probably the safest target to hit on this serve, and it's also probably the most effective. The next target you can go for is essentially just curving the ball away from them, which looks like this. So as you can see on this side, I'm going to be taking that serve more down the middle. So I'll show you another one. Right down the middle. And if your opponents aren't very quick or they're just not, super prepared for the serve to come, this can really catch them off guard. But it's a little bit riskier because I'm aiming it closer to the line. And if you use this on the right side, it'll look more like this. So here I'm doing what's called pulling him out wide. And it works especially well if your opponent's standing a little bit more towards the center. So some people just decide to stand more towards the center. And when they're doing that, you can pull out this serve and it makes it really hard for them to get in quickly because they have to move to the side before they hit their return. So like I said, going towards the left foot, which looks like this on this side, might be a little bit of a less risky option because the ball goes more towards the middle, but pulling the ball away from your opponents and going down the tee or out wide is also a very effective option as well. All right, guys, now you should be ready to try this serve the next time that you go play it. Remember though, it is a little bit tricky, so it's fine if you don't get the hang of it super quickly, but give it a shot and I'm sure you'll do great. You guys, if you like learning the serve, make sure to subscribe to our channel and drop us a like below. But there's something really important that you need to know, and it's that in 2025, starting January 1st, there's a few new pickleball rules that just got released by the USAPA. So if you want to learn them, and you should, you kind of need to learn them, click this next video.